I'm Tiana reporting for Kids First. Today I am joined by my colleague Katherine to
Hello.
talk with the incredibly talented Halle Stanford, president of TV for the Jim Henson Company. A 10-time Emmy-nominated television producer, Ms. Stanford leads the company's development and production of all television, home entertainment, and digital media in animated and live-action platforms. She establishing the company's creative culture across all territories. She is currently executive producing the Netflix series The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, and the Dinosaur Train movie for PBS Kids and Universal Entertainment. She has recently produced the Netflix original Word Party, Splashing Bubbles for PBS Kids, the animated series Dot, and the preschool show Doozers, and so much more, including Fraggle Rock, Rock On, which is streaming now on Apple TV+. Wow, Ms. Stanford, that is an impressive resume.
Oh, well, thank you. It's a lot. It's been many years that I've gained that. It's been 25 plus years, but thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You are really amazing.
Aw, thanks. You're amazing.
Thank you. So right now we are doing like all of our stuff online. And so I was curious, So I wanted to know, like, how would you say is the future, so how is the Jim Henson Company handling a lot of the things being online?
So, well, handling all the things online in terms of new programs, is that what you mean? Like, how are we dealing with putting out new shows?
Yes.
I would say that a couple of things. It's business as usual at Henson beforehand. So we had a lot of different shows already in production, like our Dinosaur Train movie that you mentioned, more Word Party that we're working on. So in animation, we could keep working on that. We've all set up our work at home and are able to keep it moving. But another thing that's happened is that we have gotten inspired about creating new programs for kids and families right now that will bring them joy, that are fun, that are inspiring. So we were very excited when Apple called us and asked us to make these Fraggle Rock Rock-On shorts, just to send out the message of hope and that we're all connected even when we're apart. And the Fraggles, they're pure joy, they're pure fun. So it's been a lot of fun actually figuring out how to make this show in quarantine from all of our different homes. But we've done it. So it's proven a lot of challenges for us, but it's been also a lot of fun creatively. And I'm glad to see that everybody's really enjoying the shorts and the work that we're doing right now, sending out messages of hope.
Yes, I got a chance to see it. It is really good.
Yay, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. So where do the ideas for kids content come from?
Well, there's so many different places, but I'll say our ideas for kids come from kids, right? So we check out what you guys are all interested in. What are you reading? What are you playing with? What are you interested in? What are you learning in school? What are you not getting out of school? Sometimes we look at the gaps, like what isn't happening at school that maybe kids need. So for example, maybe not enough art, right? So we'll say, let's do an art show. We're going to make an art show. So we take a look at things like that. And I talk to a lot of kids. I talk to a lot of teachers and parents and see what is most exciting to them and what excites us too as well. But many, many places we get ideas. We develop original ideas, sometimes from books, sometimes from sketches, sometimes from, like I said, just looking and seeing, you know what, I think kids need a dance show. So many different ways, but always inspired by kids.
Wow. And how long does it normally take to create these ideas?
Okay, well, sometimes it varies, but I'll give you a range that from idea to when we go out and sell it to the networks, usually 1 to 2 years. Takes a lot of time. Like we develop it out, we get writers, we get artists, we think about the idea, we keep refining it, we keep doing different things. Then if we sell it to a network, it may take another 1 to 2 years. until they are happy with the work we do and say, yes, go to production. And then in production, that could take 1 to 2 years. So now you can see like some ideas could take from 3 to 6 years to actually end up being made. It just varies. Sometimes things can go really fast, but sometimes they can go slow. So look at Fraggle Rock Rock On. 60 days ago, it didn't even exist. And now it's up on the air. Whereas something like our show, Dark Crystal, it took over 10 years to get made and to produce. So just depends. But you know what? We're always passionate about what we do. So even if it takes a long time, we're willing to let it take a long time because we know it's worth it.
Yes. And how does it feel knowing that you are creating kids content that kids everywhere can enjoy?
It's very, very exciting. It's a big responsibility. You know, we feel like if you're going to sit in front of the television, if you're going to put a child in front of TV, well, it better be meaningful. It better inspire them as well as entertain. We always want to be entertained, but we want to just fill our viewers with sort of real transforming experiences. So they come out of it just feeling a little bit different and more powerful in the world. So it feels great. I wanted to do it my whole life, ever since I was your age. And I want to do it for the rest of my life. So that's how it feels.
And then now over to Katherine.
All right. So you joined the Jim Henson Company in 1993, and you've worked on some of our most beloved Muppet projects like Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets Tonight, and Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yes.
More and more. I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
The C-suite at the Jim Henson Company has a very impressive number of female executives.
Mm-hmm.
When it started in 1993, was it any different? Like, how important is gender parity to you?
Well, gender parity is everything to me. It is the most important. I was raised, my father died when I was little, and I was raised in a house of all women. So it was very important, always top of mind. But I really like your question. When I joined the Jim Henson Company, I worked for a woman named Alex Rockwell. She actually started as Jim Henson's assistant, and then she was my boss, and I was her assistant. She was a wonderful woman. She's still a mentor to me, but she was the only female executive that was in my department at the time. The company was run by men, Brian Henson and Charlie Rifkin, wonderful leaders, but all the creative talent at the time that we had deals with were men, and mainly the puppeteers were men. So it was very different, very loving and creative environment, but definitely I can now, looking back on it, see how that did influence the characters in our shows. So you know Muppet Treasure Island. I love Muppet Treasure Island, but there's not that many female characters in it. In fact, there's one. It's Miss Piggy. So, you know, I think looking back on it, that's probably one of the reasons. But I've been with the company, working with them for 25 plus years. So when Lisa Henson, who is another one of my mentors, became my boss, you know, she and I made a real effort to start making sure that there was, you know, gender equality in our shows, female stars, diverse female roles too, not just like one kind, you know, introverts, extroverts, different diversity, different kinds of girls. And then we made really sure that we made sure to give opportunities to a lot of female puppeteers and a lot of female showrunners and creators and directors. So now if you look at our shows, you will kind of see that in all of them, that you'll see not only the characters, but just kind of the types of stories being told. So even in Dark Crystal, I'm so proud of Dark Crystal that you know, there's 3 main heroes, 2 of them are girls. And I'm just really proud of that, because when you think about fantasy shows, it's usually it's usually more boy action, you know, even Star Wars, my favorite. But I'm just proud of what we've done over the years. And you know what? We keep pushing ourselves to do more, honestly. So it's changed, but I'll just say one thing about Jim Henson himself, is that 2 of his most famous movies starred young girls in Labyrinth and Dark Crystal. So it was always there in the storytelling, but we just had to keep elevating it.
And it's great that you have this, you are keeping growing, and you already have a lot, but you're keeping growing. And I guess you have to start somewhere. So that's always great. And you were speaking a lot about the mentors you had, which sound amazing. And so who would you identify that has played an important role as a mentor, role model, or manager to get where you are today at the Jim Henson Company? Who else?
Well, I will tell you who else. My mom. So I've mentioned two people at my company, Alex Rockwell and Lisa Henson, but my mom, when I was growing up, she was a single mom, a working mom. She was a lawyer, and she was a very powerful businesswoman, but she was always herself. She would always, you know, all the other people would go dressed in their little suits, and my mom would go to work dressed in silver leather pants and crazy shirts, and she was just herself, and everybody loved her for it. So she taught me a lot about business, but also being true to who you are creatively. And I always took that with me to this day to my job. So anyway, I would say my mom is another big influence in my work.
Being yourself is the most important thing. Over to you, Tiana.
Well, actually, now we are going to go over to our Q&A from the audience.
Yay!
So first we are going to start with, So right now we are going to start with Izzy.
Hello.
Hello.
I hope you're having a nice evening. I guess that's what time it is. Your programs, I have a few questions. I have a question, but I just wanted to tell you, your programs really connect with kids. I did a review on the Doozers, and it got a ton of views on YouTube. It might be my most viewed review ever.
Oh, yay! I love the Doozers! Hooray!
It was very exciting, yeah. So my question is, so I have been on the Jim Henson lot before to work with some of the puppeteers from Julie Andrews' Green Room.
Yeah.
And that was very fun. I love doing voices. It's very fun for me. How would you recommend a kid prepare for doing career voices?
Ooh, what a good question. Well, when I was in my early 20s, I actually did cartoon voices too. And then I stopped doing it. I wish I could puppeteer. I just get so confused though. So I get confused with the space. So anyway, I can't do it anymore. But what I would say to you is practice. You know, honestly, I would just you watch a lot of cartoons, you watch a lot of these shows. I would just start practicing and recording yourself doing different voices, and keep doing it. Also, I would say to start also practicing imitating voices, because that's a good, because you have those people out there sort of training you anyway. So if there are certain cartoons that you love, just start imitating them. That you have teachers out there already, right? But I'm telling you, it's practice, and get into drama. I'm sure you already are though, Izzy, but I would definitely encourage you to take a lot of fun improv classes and drama classes. But again, you can practice at home every day, voices. So that's my advice to you. And if you want to puppeteer, don't ask me to help train you, but there's probably a lot of different people online teaching kids how to puppeteer as well, John Tartaglia is one of our best puppeteers. He started when he was your age, and now he's the one that's doing Gobo on Fraggle Rock Rock On. So again, you can set up your camera, just start practicing, start doing it.
That's right. Practice makes perfect. On to you, Heather.
Hey, thanks, Katherine. And hi, Miss Stanford. How nice it is to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. So how did you know that you wanted to work in production? When did that dream become a goal for you?
Well, when I was younger, I loved movies and television so much. I think when I was younger that I imagined myself acting more and directing more, but I always wanted to be in television and film. But when I got into college, when I was at university, I think that's when I really realized how much I wanted to work in children's television. I had met one of the alumni of my college I went to, Wesleyan University. He was producing a show for Nickelodeon. And I was like, Nickelodeon, what's that? So I got very excited about children's TV in college. And then I also realized that that's when I wanted to be a producer. I knew I didn't want to be a director. I do like writing, but I realized I wanted to be that person that helped create the idea and see it from idea all the way through production. So in college, I would say is like really when I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, like producers are so vital to the movie and TV industry. So that's wonderful. And what was it like when you first got hired to work with such an iconic company as the Jim Henson Company?
It was a dream come true. It was a dream come true. I love Jim Henson so much. I was like Kermit the Frog. I went to Hollywood to make my dreams come true. And I always wanted to work there. So when I saw an opportunity to interview and go over there, I mean, I think my passion shone through how much I love them and how much I really wanted to be there. But it was a dream come true, 100%.
That's so cool to like hear you talk about how you went from college to now being the CEO. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And you surely are amazing. And now we're going to go to our next question, Dominic.
Before I ask any questions, I just want to say how amazing your work is.
Oh, thanks, Dominic. You're so nice. Yay!
So my first question is there any one person who inspired you to enter into the world of television?
Yes, there are many, but of course, you guys are going to be completely surprised when I say Jim Henson. Always love the Muppets. It's one of the main reasons, and Sesame Street, one of the main reasons that I am where I am today. But also, I'll be really honest with you, I can think of a lot of TV shows that I love that inspired me to want to be in TV, like Little House on the Prairie, my most favorite show. So in looking back on it, Michael Landon, who was the producer, and he also was Pa on the show, was an incredible visionary. And so I think that the people that made these shows that I loved as a child are really the reason that I ended up being here. And then the other person is George Lucas. I love Star Wars so much. And he also is a producer, right? He is not the writer, he's not the director, he is the producer. And I really aspired to have that type of job and to create worlds like he did. So I would say George Lucas as well.
Okay, I love Star Wars, by the way. All right, can you tell us what it was like to get your first Emmy nomination?
It was very exciting because it was for a show that I created called Sid the Science Kid. So it was and Sid is based on my son Max, who's now 23. Can you believe it? But then he was a little guy. And so it was very extra special to get that nomination too. So it was very special. It was very exciting.
Thank you, Dominic. I definitely remember watching Sid the Science Kid, and I loved that show, so I loved it. And on to Hanibra.
Hello, Ms. Stanford.
Hello.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
So I love watching puppets and humans work together, but I always wonder how it's done and how you make it seem like the puppets have a life of their own.
Well, I have to tell you, there's a couple of things that make that happen, but I'll tell you, a great puppeteer is what really makes it happen, right? So they're going to bring a soul to that character just in their nuance and their voice, the way they perform it. But then we try to do things to even enhance it to make it feel more real. So the way we frame it, right? The way that we sort of cut them out of the camera, the way that we make it feel like they exist in our space, in our living. And then the puppet builders. So one of the things that people don't realize is a lot of those puppets are built so that they will have great performance. So they're light. They're usually custom made to the hand of the puppeteer. There may be mechs in the eyes that make them move back and forth. So it just gives it a little extra life. So puppet builders are also what's really making it all come together. So it's interesting. There's a lot of different people sort of bringing that reality to life. But you know who else brings puppets to life is the audience. Because you know what? We all know it's a puppet. I know that Kermit the Frog is a piece of green felt, but I want to believe that Kermit's real. So when I watch Kermit, I'm like, I'm gonna participate in this puppet experience. And then you have a great puppeteer like Jim Henson bring Kermit to life. So together we're all kind of making the puppet magic, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting to like see how many people are behind this, and it's just so amazing to see the product of it and how just great it looks. I really love watching those shows like Julie's Green Room. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Also, in addition to your work in television, I see that you have authored some books.
I have.
For children, yes. What motivated you to create books for children?
Well, what motivated me, I love children's books so much. And I love writing fan fiction. And we had this series called Enchanted Sisters in development as a TV series. But we realized that we needed to expand the world and sort of build out the fantasy world. If you think like The Hobbit or, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or Harry Potter even, that all of those began as books and they were able to create a bigger world. And we realized we needed to do that. And so I volunteered. I said, I'll write them if you let me. And my boss at the time said, okay, well, why don't you do these two? And then Elise Allen, who wrote the other ones, you write those, and let's give you a shot. So it was very lovely that they let me do it. And it was a lot of fun. It was hard. It was very hard, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, children's books are so fun. I like reading them still. They're really nice.
Yep.
That's great.
I still read kids' books, and I'm 50.
And I always remember reading like one of those children's books after I would go to bed. Well, before I would go to bed, and so that always just kind of motivated me to go to bed a little bit, just hearing a nice story.
Of course, all of us, yes.
Okay, on to Sanaya Rain.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to meet you because I used to watch Sid the Science Kid all the time, and I loved it so much. So I'm just so happy to meet you. And I also did a review on Doozers, so it was just really fun to do. And now that I'm actually talking to you and meeting you, it's crazy.
I'm so glad that both of you have done Doozer reviews. When you watch Fraggle Rock, the shorts right now, there's these little Doozer tubes in it. So you got to check it out because the Doozers. You'll love it.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question for you is, how has children's television changed today to you, and how do you keep the shows that you are producing entertaining for kids to watch since their habits are changing for watching shows?
Wow, that is such a good question. I think that one of the things that we make sure that we do is we do evolve with the time. So, when we are trying to make shows for kids, we're looking at you guys right now. We're not thinking about kids 10 years ago. We're not trying to make shows that, maybe our kids would have watched when they were younger. We're like, what do kids like to watch now? And what are they more interested in? So sometimes we do that by looking at what's already existing. So I might get to know all the YouTubers and see what's working and what's not. We'll take a look at how books are evolving. Maybe there's a whole new, we all know Captain Underpants. So we might be looking at really funny graphic novels that are coming out. Maybe we should be doing that. So I think we're always kind of looking and see what the new trends are, reading research, making sure we're staying relevant and giving you guys what you want to watch, and not necessarily what we think that you may like, or maybe what I would have liked when I was young. But I think that what hasn't changed in children's television is that children's television producers care. They really genuinely care about entertaining you, making it a worthwhile experience. So when I was a kid, I loved Scooby-Doo, which I'm not sure there's any educational messages in Scooby-Doo, but I loved it. And then I also loved, shows like Sesame Street, Free to Be You and Me. So, and again, those are educational. But all of those producers, even today, everybody's trying to make you guys happy. That's the bottom line. So that doesn't change.
Yeah, that's great. And my last question to you is, who out of all the shows you have been doing, who's your favorite character from shows or a few shows?
All of them are my children. No, let me tell you who I love the most. Well, I think, as I told you, Sid was based on my son. So I am a little partial to Sid the Science Kid. But in every show I could pick out my favorites and say, oh, I love this one. I love that one. I love Buddy the dinosaur. I love Dot from Dot. And I love Molly Bolt from Doozers. But I think Sid. I think Sid's my secret crush. That's who I love the most.
That's really good. It was so nice talking to you.
Great talking to you.
And
Thank
it
you.
really was great talking to you. We are going to wrap up now.
Sounds good.
Yes. Well,
Thank you, guys.
that is it for now. Thank you so much, Ms. Stanford, for participating and getting to talk to us today. And also thank you to my co-host, Katherine, for helping me today, and to everyone else that is on our call. So I'm Tiana, reporting for Kids First. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.